Good evening, fantasy degenerates. It's Thursday night kickoff. Seattle versus the Packers. Looks like Marshawn Lynch is doing some damage so far. It's about halftime. But let's talk about this season. It's our fifth season, year 2014, with Jake Wall, Carpet Munch, and we started the year out with a bang, without a doubt, with the fireworks show.
No pun intended.
Yeah, $20 fireworks show was
Great success.
Great success. Hopefully, there's no lawsuits that are pending or anything against me at this point. But
I gotta say, the draft party, there was a lot of broken glass and a lot of fire.
yeah, I'm still finding like random pieces of glass throughout the garage. But yeah, I think that there could possibly be another fireworks show in the future at any point. Just come over and we'll see what kind of fun we can have.
I think that's banned in the future. But anyway, starting out this year, this is our first video. So what we're going to go ahead and do is jump right into the power rankings. The preseason power rankings, as you know in the past, are not dictating any sort of the future or what may happen. But this is just a couple guys' opinions, and take it for what it's worth, but we put a lot of stock into it.
Absolutely. So what we're going to do, we're going to start from bottom to top. This year, our number 12 power ranking seed is going to be Mr. Kyle Bauman. Kyle, I think the reason why we're at number 12 with you, man, is picking Ryan Tannehill. I don't know if you just have a boner over his girlfriend or what, and then you go off and pick Percy Harvin in the 5th round or something. It just blows me away. But, yeah, that's why you're at number 12, man.
I will say this year we did something a little different with the power rankings. Waylon put his own power rankings on the board. I put my power rankings on the board. And then I did mathematical stats of the average draft position by player of each team and averaged it out by the number of players you have. And then that was also put into the rankings.
Of course you did, Urkel.
Yeah, so it's some sort of beautiful mind thing that's happened here. Kyle, you're number 12, and Percy Harvin, so far, that's not a bad pick, but the Tannehill thing, yeah, he could have got him in the 14th round.
Absolutely.
So let's move on to number 11, according to the ADP, which this is a controversial one. ADP has Todd at 11th, which doesn't quite make sense because Waylon had him at 6th and I had him at 9th, so if you average it out, we have Todd just outside the playoffs there at about the 8th, 9th ranked pick. But overall, I thought his picks were solid, and I was kind of surprised to see him that low.
Yeah, and that's why I had Todd at 6 is because he has Monte Ball that I think is really just going to just pound it in for Denver, and then obviously with McCoy in that offense, man, they are going to put up. Both of them probably 20 points each game would be my prediction pretty consistently throughout the year. So that's why I put him right into that 6th seed.
Absolutely.
So moving on, we have Austin at number 10. And if knowing what we know now of what Austin's bad luck that has presented him with kind of the scare at the beginning of the season with Le'Veon Bell smoking weed with his homeboy, who was a Blunt or
Blunt? Yeah, absolutely, it was Blunt.
Smoking with his homeboy Blunt, and but it doesn't look like they're going to probably not be suspended till next year, and then having Wes Welker taking the mollies and getting fucked up too, man.
You talk about beginner's luck, and this is the opposite of that, really.
Yeah. And drafting a whole team that needs to go to rehab. So.
Yeah, apparently. So, I think he'll be all right in the end. He's definitely going to be week in and week out in every game. But Welker suspended for 4 games hurts. Le'Veon Bell, luckily, sounds like he's going to be playing the whole year. So
I think the reason why I mentioned Edelman a while ago is because Monday night Austin had a scare where he accidentally dropped Edelman. So that's probably why I dropped him, but he's back on your team.
All right, moving on to number 9 here. We have John Leck. And, John, ADP had you at 9th, Waylon had you at 11th, and I had you at 10th. So, you're right there in that 9-10 range. I think, you you came in strong to the MC Hammer song, and things were going well for you, but then the draft happened, and you have a little work to do with your roster, but in typical John Leck fashion, I think you're going to make a late playoff push per usual, and we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, Breeze and Johnson's going to probably help you with that push as well. So.
Absolutely.
So moving on, we have Mr. Canada, Kevin Croney. Kevin, you're at. I had you at 7th. Your ADP was 8th, and Robbie had you also at 8th. So you're pretty much where you should be at this point in Canada. So you have Tom Brady and Gronk. If they don't go, you don't go. So
yeah, it's really kind of shocking though, because he's usually up there in that top 5 or 6 every year.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how this year plays out and if these rankings are worth anything.
definitely weaker draft for you, man. Disappointed.
So here's an interesting one to me. Is ADP had Nick at number 7. I love Nick's team. Love him. I have him at number 2 overall.
Yeah.
You had him at number 3 overall.
Yeah.
So, I mean, apparently, maybe ESPN's undervaluing some players he has, but I love Nick's roster. I think his bench is a little weak, but his starters are really strong.
Yeah. So that has dropped quite a bit in the overall rankings, and like I said, you always make a playoff push. So that's where I see you at the end of the season. So coming in at number 5, number 6. My fault. Number 6, Strack finally breaking into the top 6 in the early preseason rankings. Usually we put him at the bottom. He's growing to be a bigger man. So I'm not even sure who's on your team besides Marshawn Lynch at this point, but he's doing it for you at least tonight.
He did draft both Mannings once again, so we knew it was going to be a success when we saw that happen.
No.
Absolutely not. But I think you'll be dropping Eli here in the next couple weeks. But good luck to you there, Chris. All right, moving on to number 5, we have Matt Brandenburg. He wasn't even there at the draft, and obviously he's had good luck in the past with other people drafting his team.
Mm-hmm.
I think this year he has a solid team. I think it's one of those borderline playoff teams, but there are some strengths and weaknesses on his bench. But I think overall he's going to be right in the middle of the pack this year.
Yeah, love the photo that you put up with Ray's hooks. And the only reason I put you at number 5 because my wife helped you draft the team, so you're number 5 for me, buddy. And talking about a person who is kind of really pushing himself up in the rankings and kind of making a stance here in the league lately in the last couple of years is Brent. I think Brent actually did a pretty decent draft without being there and joined the Kenny Chesney concert. But overall, he has a pretty solid team. He's trying to ride the Martin train again this year. So we'll see how that goes for you, Brent.
You know what Brent's biggest strength is not showing up at the draft.
Yeah,
He definitely was propelled this year by having somebody else draft for him, and he does have the controversial team name this far as the Ferguson Gun Club. So current events. Joke, of course. Moving on to number 3, we have Team Carby, Carrie and Libby. I think their team's extremely strong this year. I had them ranked at number 4. Waylon said number 2. ADP has them at 3, so it's right there in that 3 range. Carrie, I think you have way better days ahead of you than last season, and I think you learned a lot from last year. And you're gonna see some W's in the column this year.
yeah. Percy Harvins has already done well for you tonight. I do think Luck is going to have a big season for you. And I love the 2-headed monster, too, of Libby helping you out this year. So
Absolutely. Moving on to number 2.
And this is going to be controversial.
Obviously, as every year.
Because who's the last 2 that's left?
Well, number 2 is Waylon. He did his research once again. He is the defending champion. ADP was ranked number 2. He ranked himself number 4. I ranked him number 3. So he's in that top 4 regardless. And he's got a pretty strong team, and he's feeling strong about it. And I think Eddie Lacy fell to you, and you were happy about that.
Absolutely, and I'm confident. So confident that I put Matt Stafford on the bench this week and started Wilson, who I picked up on the free agent market this week. So come and get some.
There you go.
Gambling juice.
All right. Well, that takes us to number 1, I believe, and I guess I'm the only one left, huh?
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
the commissioners are running this.
I didn't want to put myself as number 1. ADP ranked me number 1. Waylon ranked me number 1. I ranked myself number 1. Mainly, I think I put a lot of stock into my keeper, Zach Stacy. Really propelled my team, being
Absolutely.
that I got him in the 14th round, and he was a top 10, basically, running back that I got for free. So that's the main reason. But I got a long way to go, you know.
Absolutely, and it's justified. And I think you have one of the probably deepest benches in the league. So,
But the target's on my back, so that, I mean, that's working against me, of course.
so there's your top 12. Whether you like it or not, we have the math and the opinions. So make some noise, and we'll kind of see what adjustments we make in the upcoming weeks into those power rankings. So we told you in the draft it's going to be, we're going to have a lot of rivals this year. We have 2 rival matches this week. So our first rival match is going to be Robbie versus Kevin, Team Goon versus Team Canada.
All right, the A-team versus me. He is 5-1 all time against me. Really, my kryptonite of this league. I've got a pretty positive record against everybody except for Kevin. So, really looking. I got a target on my back. I want to get after him. He's got really pushing the Patriots to have a good game this week with Gronkowski and Brady. But I think Zach Stacy, Jamal Charles. Randall Cobb's playing right now, not really playing that great. I think this is going to be a really close game. I was projected about a 5-point favorite. I'm going to go ahead and say that Kevin has me this week. I think that Adrian Peterson and Rob Gronkowski is going to propel him to the victory.
No.
No?
Disagree.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Disagree. You have Foles, Charles, and Stacy all playing very, very weak defenses. They're going to put up. Jamal Charles is predicted to score the most points in the league this week. I think that's going to be a 25 to 30 point score for you, possibly.
Hopefully.
Brady and Gronk, they really have always struggled against Miami, and I think that continues, especially we're at Miami. So I see Robbie winning this week.
All right, Kevin expects a lot of text and shit talk on Sunday and Monday.
The Goons
This is going to be a long weekend. The Goons are
invading
in the house.
Canada. So our next match is Matt versus Todd, Ray versus Lenny. I really, really like Todd this week for 2 reasons, and it's probably going to be consistent all year, is McCoy and Ball putting up huge numbers, and that's where that win's going to come from those 2 guys.
I'm going to agree with you for several points. At this point in the evening, we are at halftime in the Packers game, and Aaron Rodgers only has 3 points. So that gives Todd an upper hand immediately. And then with Wes Welker going down, Todd picked up Emmanuel Sanders. He's going to be a big, deep threat target for Peyton. I think, obviously, having LaShawn McCoy gives him an upper hand way early in the game. I would go ahead and say Todd wins by 20+.
Yeah, I would agree. So there you have it. You have your rivals. You have your power rankings. Set and dwell on that. But, hey, it's only week 1. So if it's fake, it's fantasy, whatever day, we still screw it up week by week, or at least I do. So take care. Enjoy tonight's game. Later.